Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Blue Podcast. I know we've changed the names a bit, but it does make sense to Henry, who's not here today. But today I've got Lloyd and Jamie and Louis. How are you guys doing today?
Not bad, thanks, lads.
Yeah.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
All good.
Good. I always think that it's easiest for the guests to introduce themselves because, let's be honest, you know yourself better than I know you.
You just don't know who I am, mate. Come on, go on.
I've done my research, but...
No, come on, that's self-centred. So I'm Louis. I'm 7 years clean. No, I'm Louis. I'm a journalist and podcaster with the Chelsea Echo and the Sideline. And yeah, I've never had to do that before. I'm usually just like, I sometimes like to talk about myself.
Well, I mean, we're going to probably spend about the next 50 minutes doing that.
Yes, come on! I was lying. I love it.
Yeah, you still go to uni here.
Yes,
you should. We'll point out.
For my sins.
Yeah. So.
Who's your Dave?
Oh, Dave's my lecturer.
Wait, genuinely a lecturer because I did a master's, so I don't have the same lecturers as them.
Yeah, so I had some good. Dave King.
Yeah.
Robin Bailey, who's just left.
Oh,
yeah.
King Robin Bailey.
I was here on his last day. We did the film. Had to do a program with him.
I just want to give him a big hug. He's that sort of guy.
He's really nice.
And then Paul Brewster, who was an absolute legend, who I made wear a Chelsea shirt for a whole lecture, which said "I lost a bet" on the back because he made a bet with me about Chelsea and Spurs finishing high on each other. So he spent at least 3 hours having everyone take pictures of him for a whole day.
That's pretty good.
So he's a legend of a man, and he says Puma in the best way possible, and Manchester United because he's from Barbados.
Okay.
Oh, you think he's still there?
Puma
Yeah,
and
Puma.
Manchester United. I'm like, yes, say it again. Keep saying it. What a man.
Well, as you can see, Louis is sat in front of the Chelsea shirt. I did that on purpose.
Did you?
Because you're a Chelsea fan.
Really?
Crazy.
Oh shit, yeah, I am.
Unfortunately. Don't worry. That's why we got you on here. We got him. We'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to watch with Chelsea, let's be honest.
I mean, it's been an interesting start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
To be honest, it's not even the football. It's like the football was like everything but the football was like the first. I was at the Inter game was the first kind of sampling I had by myself.
Yeah.
And I felt bored after 15 minutes.
That's good.
Manchester City was the same, but it's Man City, so you take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Wolves, I missed 2 of the goals because I was busy trying to get a pie.
You at the game?
I was at the game. It was a great game.
Oh, he went to be at home.
No,
It was just
just getting a pie.
Sainsbury's going to get a pucker, come back.
Just want to clarify to keep the continuity.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It makes sense. He's been making a point, Jamie. God, grab up, mate. It's not fun. And then, yeah, the rest of it, it's just, I've been at every game this season so far. I'm not going Bournemouth because 1, it's impossible to get tickets, and 2, I'm moving at the same time, which is less fun. But yeah, like it's just the football this season at Chelsea's been. It's had its peaks and troughs. I think after Wolves, a lot of people expected us to really deliver against Palace.
Yeah.
But Palace are a little bit of a bogey side. I feel personally for Chelsea.
Also, I think Palace were due a result. Again, like the first 2 games of the season, they didn't deserve to drop all 6 points. I don't think.
Absolutely not.
And so when coming into that Chelsea game, I always thought like, this is a game where we could still play well. And I mean, Henderson had some pretty good saves, and still drop 2 points in.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that happens in football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Teams kind of just keep knocking. And Crystal Palace have a good team. I think that's the thing as well.
I don't know if it's a struggle.
No,
Not as good as Chelsea's team.
Yeah.
No, I am not saying anything. This is going on the internet. I'm not an idiot. I think Palace. They have some growing to do.
Yeah.
I think. I do worry about their defence. I think Trevor Chalobah is an absolutely amazing pickup by them because, I mean, realistically, he should still be in the Chelsea start 11 in my opinion.
Yeah.
But politics aside, but I think that the whole situation with Palace is they've kept hold of Eze, which was massive. They've obviously lost Elise. They kept Gahey. I do feel like Joachim Andersen's a bit of an unsung hero in that side, or he was at least.
Yeah.
I think Trev will step up, but obviously they've only got him for a year. It's kind of a case of where's that growth going to lead to? How's that team going to develop? Because obviously that's Jordan Ayew as well. He's not a main man, but he's just a very good squad player for Palace. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they redevelop their look. And I like Oliver Glasner. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever see a manager on Air Maxes and a Canada Goose on the touchline. There you have it. It's not exactly Barclays, but I can grow with that.
Yeah.
You can go with that.
Yeah.
I think
But let's take it back to you before we continue with the
Oh
football.
God, we have to.
Yeah, we have to. I'm sure you really hate that. So let's take it back to the journaling.
Mm-hmm.
We can go into everyone going on about social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's already out there. But I'm sure most people don't know. You kind of are a journalist as well as an influencer. Would you say?
I hate the word influencer.
I know.
Oh, it's vile. Because I think look,
There's a lot of connotations to that word.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the connotation. I think the problem is, so obviously I started in fan channels. I lost my rag after a very bad week, and then it just obviously went everywhere. I remember it was like #1 trending on YouTube in the UK for about 3 days.
I remember it as well.
Yeah, went redder and redder and redder and redder. And I remember when I first met my ex, that my friends first met, I said, "Do you know about this about Lewis?" She hadn't seen it. She didn't know about it, and that was the first thing they brought. I went to the toilet at the pub, and that was there. And I was like, bastard. But yes, that's still out there. Then so off the back of that, I got asked to run the channel because I a lot of people don't seem to test, but I didn't actually own 100% Chelsea. It was it was part of a network. So I got asked to run it when I was 18. So I kind of went into the deep end. Like everyone was obviously a lot older than me. And then we just kind of did that, developed it, and I kind of wanted to go a different way by the end of it. I think the big benefit of football journalism now and influencing is everybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's also its biggest pitfall because the market now is so saturated with a lot of rubbish and a lot of clickbaiting.
Yeah.
And obviously I know, obviously major outlets are now falling into that pattern because they need to evolve to keep up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then also at the same time, I think it's important, and what I was trying to do by the end of my time at 100% Chelsea, what I tried to do afterwards as well, was just screaming, it's just not good for your health. It was not good. So I wanted to kind of, whenever you'd ask someone outside around watching about the game, we think this was crap. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Don't just tell me. Just give me a why. And actually open a dialogue and have a conversation. And that's kind of like since that. That's why I mean the journalism stuff kind of it's happened. I've been very fortunate over the past 18 months to work with a guy called Gary Hayes, who is absolute legend. Like he's just genuine. Like he worked with CNN. He's worked with Chelsea.
Oh, wow.
Worked with the EFL. He runs one of the largest, or his network runs the largest UK NFL podcast.
What's the name? Because I've been getting into NFL recently.
I'm sorry, Gary. I'm not an NFL guy, but I'll send it to you afterwards.
Yeah.
But he sort of brought me into his network, and obviously he's kind of with that. He's gone right, like we're going to sort of adapt how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
And where I was so used to being, got to be first. Like, don't be first. You can get your news out there quick, have it as a hit, 1 minute, but then okay, you've now got 2-3 days to go and find out more. So I think the best good example you use right now is the whole Takeover stuff with Chelsea.
Yeah.
We still haven't released the pod because we spent 3 days doing research. You know, Charlie, that scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Charlie Kelly's got all the stuff on his wall.
Yes.
That's what my office looks like at the minute. It's like gone back 5 years, like trying to find things, do stuff. It's like doing that, and then it's like I think it's important to have some critical thinking because obviously I'm talented, but no, it's
Super
it's
modest
like,
as well. I've heard.
have you? But it's just a case of I think it's important that as much as it's his biggest strength, where it's his biggest pitfall, it's where you're different and how you do things. I think that's the biggest thing because, like, again, everyone's had a podcast, and one of my favourite jokes, one of the skits. It's the guys who like the three roadmen who take the piss doing so what is the youngest you would go? And it's like, oh my god, it's literally every bloke's podcast. That's how I buy episodes. It's like just like separate yourself.
Yeah, you've got to have something different. You've got
Exactly.
to do that.
Those are funny to watch. Though. Those kind of taking the piss. I
The
like
satirical
when they're taking the piss.
when they're taking the piss, it's great.
Yeah.
When they're not, is when I'm concerned.
Oh, it's when I sit.
Yeah, it's like unironically. Like,
Yeah.
You're not even satirical. You're just like
Like they
what
just
you do.
give you the scenario like
If you were between your mum and your dad, which way would you go?
yeah, but like gun to your head, bro. Gun to your head. You have to do it.
Don't think about it. Right? I'll ask you the question.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
He's
That's
got red, he's
crazy.
got trauma.
That's crazy. That's a crazy comment.
No, seriously.
I think it's interesting what you were saying about the takeover, because I think a lot of people just know it from surface level, but don't actually then do research into what's actually going on. Because I tried to look into it, and there is so much.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It is so complicated with the amount that each person owns and what each person then wants to do with it, and it's
And the fact that the Bowley and oh my god, my brain's gone blank. Barley.
See, it's not just me forgetting things today.
Yeah, no, it's not. The fact that they just have two different ethoses on how they want to do things.
yeah,
I think.
it shows them.
What I'm saying is, it's not a good start.
Well, I think it's important to analyse completely. So I was chatting with Ben Jacobs the other day about it on a space, and he made a very good point, which I think a lot of people forget, is how unorthodox and how quickly this whole thing happened. Sort of Chelsea was sold by Rain Group within sort of 6 months.
Yeah.
But it wasn't sort of a standard takeover. There was certain mitigations and things that happened. And these guys obviously just thought, come together, let's get it done, let's get going.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous that the ethoses are so different.
Yeah.
And the things that are happening are not as clear as they could be. And look, I'm not expecting Chelsea to ever come out and go, this is our entire business plan, can you give us everything? It's like, well, no, like, we don't need that. We just need a basic understanding so people know which direction everything's going. Because when there's so much infighting, when people are talking about stadium redevelopments now as well, it's like, okay, well, can we just focus on one thing first, get this sorted, and then have that conversation? I think that's the important thing. The percentages are really interesting. I sort of, again, with my digging, I actually went to a hedge fund company in London last week, just sort of sit down, sort of like we laid it out because one of my friends works there. And I went, right, can you just explain this to me as if I'm an idiot, please?
Yeah.
And kind of when we laid it all out, it's like, okay, Bowley has 38%, obviously, basically, plus, Vice and other shareholders. Clearlake have 62. Ergo, they're going to take priority on a lot of things. But because of how things were managed and where things were going, and the politics, and it's the emotional politics as well, which is always, I think, forgotten about. I do think, especially, obviously with Billings Estate, it is very important. I think people don't. They just think, well, it's just money. You've got to think about the money. You do. The money is the priority, but there's no doubt that the emotional intelligence of people in those situations needs to be considered as well. And I do think, look, I'm not picking a side. I think it's a waste of time right now. I think both are big positives to Chelsea. Both have had huge pitfalls. Ridiculously big mistakes have been made consistently, and there's been no effort to rectify them. I think one thing which does really annoy me is they're very quick to jump at it and go, look how great, this is what we've done. And then when they've made a mistake, they're kind of like, yeah, that wasn't us. We'll kind of just put that over there.
Which ethos do you prefer? The Bowley, bringing the best professionals to give the advice, or, the buy as many of the best people as we want? Which, I don't know which one I'd prefer there.
I think if we take what Bowley's done in terms of the best people with advice so far, we look at the first transfer window, that was a massive failure.
Yeah.
However, that again is a very, 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 very rare scenario where the old team are exiting as you're coming in and you have no time to bring in spawn directors and do things. I think the issue, look, for me, it's very much a case of get the first bit right, get your ducks in a row, that's how I like to operate, and then you move on. Where they've clashed and straight away they got Strasbourg, they looked at the team in Portugal, they've done all this stuff and across 3 clubs is, right, we're going to just play a hoard and then sell and do whatever. It worked at Chelsea previously because when they brought the players in, it was pennies.
Yeah.
Now we're spending £20 million on a player who's had 7 first-team appearances
Yeah.
or played 20 minutes of football in the under-20s in Brazil. Like Gabriel Mek was like something where he's played 7, 8. He hasn't even made a senior appearance yet.
I think the same with Angelo, where Angelo came in from Santos, played like 1 or half a season, signed him for, I'd say maybe 15 million or so,
sold him for 20.
and you sold him for 19.
Which is
like,
it's great business, but
Yeah.
was it needed?
Did it
Because-
benefit Chelsea in any way apart from the books?
Well, but even with the books,
Also,
did it benefit
you
Chelsea?
made 4 million. It better off just wasn't really signing the player in the first
Yeah.
But
place.
this is it. It's like, was there even a benefit there?
No.
Because
Not really.
Didn't play for you at all.
Well, it's not even that's the case of, look, I am someone who, that from a business standpoint, okay, fine, great,
Yeah.
fantastic. I think about that, but like that's why I talk a lot about emotional intelligence. I really value emotions,
Yeah.
and I think, and look, because that's what I've centered my journalism around, my career around. That whenever I look at things, I try and understand the emotional perspective. That's why I'm such a nostalgia merchant. That's why all this Barclays stuff is coming up and crying in bed, just watching it, going, "What's happened to football?" But I think what Bowley does is his investments are in emotional things, film, television, music. He owns, I think, a massive portion of the Bruce Springsteen back catalogue.
Oh, really?
Obviously, you know, he works with more films, so Matthew Vaughan.
Yeah.
I love like Layer Cake, and I thought Argyle was a bit shit, but you know, aside from that, you know, there's fantastic films that come out of there. Obviously, the Dodgers, you know, he's massive into his baseball, and he wanted to make them better. So, I like that. The issue is he owns 38%. He's got to generate £2.5 billion to try and take over Clear Lake, who have got 90 billion in their back pocket.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not gonna happen, is it?
I mean, look, it might be. There's
potential.
There's potential, but it's a difficult one.
Yeah, I think the ethos is very much. I think you see it a bit with Kroenke as well, where when they own some like an American team, because the two, I don't know how to word it, but in terms of the two kind of models of like running a team are very different in America and in England.
Massively.
They can get crossed over quite a lot, and because of that, I think the English team would suffer more than the American because
You
it's
say
a bit
that-
more complicated.
You
with
say
vote
that,
to
but
hear.
if you look at how Arsenal have actually learned their lessons over the past few years, and I hate saying that because I hate that team so much,
Yeah.
they've actually learned from their mistakes. Mikel Arteta's unified everybody.
Yeah, I think there's a crossover period. That's the thing.
There is,
You've
but-
got to get used to it.
But they're not allowing that to happen. If you look at there was a crossover period. If you look at the coaches, right? Again, it's harking back and it's like looking back and all that sort of stuff, and we don't know what happened behind the scenes. There was one man that was perfect for that job.
Are you going to say Thomas Tuchel?
I am indeed.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to steal my thunder, man?
I was just guessing.
It's
Because I feel the same pain.
his name is Louis Beneventi. He was a great manager. No, you see, Thomas Tuchel was a perfect fit for that crossover period. He's a man who doesn't want to be doing the transfers. He wants to be coaching the team. Guess what we've got in place now? Someone who can do that. He has the emotional connection and understanding. Granted, the football towards the back end of his tenure wasn't the best, but the way that he dealt with the whole situation with Ibrahimovic coming to an end and the whole takeover, he was the figurehead for the club and he dealt with it with such poise.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people really valued him. And I mean, the fact that he dragged that team to third that season before, I mean, says everything you need to know.
Was that the same
issue-
team won the Champions League? No.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same team that won the Champions League.
But then the issue was they went, we need to get the wages off these bills as quickly as possible, which I completely understand because Chelsea were, I think, that they weren't run the best. It needed tweaking and it needed an adjustment period. But the problem is they did that in 6 months, which was
It needs
always
to be a lot
gonna-
longer,
It was
Way
gonna-
too
It
fast.
was way too fast.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's the issue with everything, to bring it back to what you said about the American models, is these guys who've come in from the US and are the big dogs in the US are coming and swimming in the waters with oligarchs, with states.
Yeah.
You know, these are guys which they're not the big guys anymore. They need to figure out how to compete with that.
Yeah, look, competing with Qatar.
You're competing with
Atlantic,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
ridiculous.
It's insane and it's difficult.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to try and do that as quickly as possible, but as effectively as possible for a long-term period. But the issue is they've looked so long-term, they've neglected the mid-period, which is where you need those older heads in the team. I mean, an example I could use would be let's use Nicholas Jackson, right? I think he's good enough for Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in his first season where he's had to shoulder the burden of wearing Chelsea's number 9. He scored 17 goals in all competitions. Yes, he missed a few sitters, but I'm sorry, he's fantastic.
That's a great return. For a striker, that's a good return.
Exactly. But everyone seems to think, look at Haaland, what's he getting? This is what I mean about the industry that works with journalism and everything. Yeah. Everyone can say something now. Literally, I could open my Twitter now. But let's do that, right? I've said this. We'll talk about the stadium. Right?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up with you.
I've put a tweet out last night saying that I right now, because of what we're talking about the state of the club, wouldn't vote in favour of a move because everything needs to be organised first. While these guys are, having hissy fits, this is not the right time to do it. I said that, and when you get 90 comments under a post, it's never a good thing, right? That's all we're going to say, right? So with that being said, it's a case of everyone has an opinion, and it's not always right, and that's where it needs to evaluate everything. So in this case, for example, what they've done when they've come into the club, so I realise that was a weird tangent, I'm trying to bring it back. Where they bring it back is they've looked so long term and they've looked at how other clubs have done things and all this sort of stuff, where they've been pretty much pulling out the ether or pulling out the DNA of Chelsea, being brutally honest. I think this is pre-Ronavirus, which is why this is Ken Bates, this is Glenn Hoddle, this is since like 92, let's just say 93 really, when Glenn Hoddle came in, when he started to re-evolve Chelsea. All of that's gone. Okay, whatever. We don't give a shit. That's that's fine. This is how we do things in the States, and it's very much. It is a very what I felt it's been a very stereotypical, because not every American's like that. Obviously, it's used to be silly to think that, but it's been a very stereotypical, big ball bully American approach to things. It's like going to France and there's a pen company that knows how to sell things in France, and they're really successful in France. And that's how they do things. But the guys come over from the States thinking, well, this is how we do it in the States, this is how it works in France. No, you need to have an understanding of the sector. Hence why when Bowley was saying he wanted to bring in Christopher Vell and other people that were stable and understood how the sport worked, but he didn't have the time to do so, that was where it went wrong. Hiring people from Bowley's approach, where he's got it very, very wrong. Very wrong, where he has no understanding of it at all, it's really, really vexed me. And it was really funny because I always used to see him. I wait at the Britannia gate for my friends. That's all every game, even if we haven't had a drink, whatever. We're going in. If I'm usually there late anyway. Later on, not late like I was today. Sorry, lads, I didn't mean like that. But
they don't know the context. So
I said that. But I meet them at Britannia gate and we walk in. I always used to see him walk in with his big sunglasses and his 3 security guards, whatever, roll into the place.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore. I've noticed that now.
Does he not?
No. I've not seen him there for about 9 months.
Interesting.
And I was like, well, he shows everything. He's doing deactivate his Twitter, he doesn't say anything more, but it's a case of where he's looked at things, he's gone, oh, Tony Bloom and Brighton have an amazing model. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll admit to a certain extent. They do. If you're a small club, if you're a club which has been developing, if you're a club which is needing to remain in the Premier League and stabilise and look to grow, Chelsea are already an established brand.
You don't need to do the buy.
No. And he's talking about it from a marketing perspective and this perspective, Chelsea are the best. Okay, the best marketing is winning. Chelsea are one of the biggest fan bases in the world, and I'm not sitting here expecting to go and sort of challenge City all the time. Chelsea made a mistake under the previous ownership where they didn't back. I think the last time I could sort of say they didn't really do it properly. They didn't back Antonio Conte after he basically pulled off a miracle. And that was a mistake they made there. But in this case, they wanted to look at the Brighton model and pay £60,000 a week plus incentives. Which, by the way, I don't think the incentivised model is a bad thing. I think it's important to have that because if you have people that are comfortable, that's when the player power comes in, that's when things go wrong. And we saw that go wrong at Chelsea as well in the previous ownership. But if you want to bring in the quality to compete, which is what they're saying they want to do, apparently, but I don't know that much be one half not even half. That'll probably just be Bowley's side of things by the sound of things, because I'm not seeing anything that suggests that at the moment. personally. But, for example, Ivan Toney would have been someone I'd have looked at this summer if I was a sporting director and I'd gone, right, we can't offer you what Saudi are paying, but if you come in, get your big contract in the Premier League, which you've been working so hard for, which you deserve, and by the way, fair play to going to Saudi, he's enjoying it, he's had his paycheck. He's done. Yeah. Listen,
but he'll be good at it.
You'd be stupid not to.
He'll continue scoring goals. He'll be good. That's
exactly. But this is it. But then for him, it's kind of I'll be going right. You come, you make Nicholas Jackson better. You are the Chelsea #1 centre forward. I think Nico's far more dynamic on the left wing. I like him. He feels like He feels like a Solomon Kalou.
Yes,
that's what I like about him. And I loved him out there.
I've not had someone say that comparison, but the instant you've said that,
it's Kalou. Yeah. I love it. He's Solomon Kalou, and I love him.
And we needed the Didier Drogba.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I thought Ivan Toney would be. So you have him, but then it's sort of like, by the time Ivan Toney's 3 or 4 year contracts ran down or whatever, Nicholas Jackson will be 25, 26, he'll be ready, he'll be his prime, he'll be pushing forward. And he's already scored 17 goals in his first season in the Premier League. And you had the education of there's a significant lack of elite centre forwards, so I'm not going to use the term elite, because I don't think there is very many out there at all. I think there's one, and he's currently also in Saudi Arabia, and that's it. I think it's Benzema.
Benzema, yeah.
Yeah,
I was just surprised you said Ronaldo.
Past it, mate.
Yeah.
He's absolutely past it, but you won't admit that. Is what it is. That's why I started the YouTube channel, trying to step on my toes. But I think that
you are the best dressed person in football I saw. Is that
I am.
What you said?
I am indeed the best. I am currently. I stand by that. I've the most chameleonic passion sense.
Do you want to explain that to someone that doesn't understand what you mean?
What chameleonic?
Yeah.
I think I just made it up. I don't even know if it's a word.
I think I understand.
Like a chameleon.
Yeah,
when someone's like, get a guy who does both. I don't do both. I do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different looks, mate.
So let's say you're
Bergheim, put me there, or you want to shove me in, Brixton, full of Barbies and drillers. I can do that as well. Sorry.
That
just gave me shut up.
I've got to come right for that.
No, but that is no. Mate, the one thing I'm more proud of than anything I've ever done in journalism with Chelsea, running a football team at Imperial Wharf and designing what was voted the best kit in non-league football. I was over the moon with that. So when everyone says you don't know anything about fashion, like, mate, ask for non-league football. Don't know everything. It was the most Barclays kit you'll see in non-league ever. I loved it, and we're doing another one, so I'm really excited about that.
Have you got any teasers for that, or can you keep them undisclosed?
It's undisclosed, mate.
Undisclosed.
It's mainly because we don't got drawings at the minute. Again, one side of my room is just takeover stuff. The other side is just kit stuff.
Do you take a lot of inspiration from Always Sunny then? Or?
No. Actually, no. Do you know what? Yes, because my life is very chaotic. Yeah. So, and there is a lot of shouting. I don't know if you can tell I'm quite loud, so that's kind of just,
I think it's personality. That's a good thing, I think, is having that kind
of...
No, I think it is. There's a thing on one point that he said I think is very good, is when you look at it, actually, about the kind of Americans coming to here and kind of fighting against bigger people. Look at the MLS. You get so many, small teams come up suddenly and make it professional. I think I think it's the same as you said here, you're against the people with the most money, and I think it's impossible to kind of challenge that instantly.
No, totally, I think so. I think as well, not sure if you can tell I'm a Liverpool fan because of my accent, but
I'm more scouse than you, mate. My mum is, mate. Morris Green, massive.
You can thank my dad for being a Liverpool fan. But when you look at FSG, I think how they've come over, they've sort of it's so interesting looking at the Glazers at United, of course, and then FSG at Liverpool. They obviously the American model as FSG, they own a baseball team, I think it is out there as well.
Sox.
Red Sox, so they own them as well. But the model before with Liverpool was Hickson, Gillett, I think it was, and we were 400 million in debt at the time, and now I think we're only 100. They've pulled that down from 100 million. New training ground, extended the stadium, and all of this sort of thing. Do you sort of think with Chelsea, do they just need you just need a summer where you don't actually do too much in terms of business. Like, you know, when you had like,
Stop.
I think anyone
It's
would
great for content, but I'm there like, Jesus Christ, who are you? Like, so what's going on here?
I did
It's like
say.
spending 45 minutes a day just finding out who this person is we've just signed.
No,
Yeah.
I did literally say that anyone born in South America under the age of like 21 probably could go to Chelsea and pretty much just like.
Haven't we got like 2 Argentinians back in Argentina? On
Yeah.
loan?
Yeah, Anselmino, who's at Boca Juniors.
Estevão,
Yeah,
Paez.
Estevão.
That's Brazilian, mate. Come on.
No, I'm saying, but I'm adding
Yeah, thanks,
to
man.
it, you cheeky fuck.
Beg you, fuck, come on, Scott, sign up. Come on.
Start a fight already. What's going on?
Me? No, I would never do that. No, it's, look, I think, yeah. Look, personally, just on that, just going to get a Brazilian girl, stick it out there. So I'll be like, right, this is our business model. Go to her mum and go, this is the proposal. What do you think? Sound?
She
Who's
gets to stay in
the scout just having a holiday in Brazil? Just like, you know
she gets to
what?
stay in
we'll
Brazil
take
for a year, then she comes over.
Go back there for 9 months,
Yeah.
come back. Just going to go get milk. Sorry, guys. See you later. Bit much, bit dark. Sorry, guys.
Oh, this is a happy podcast.
No, yeah, no, it's
Let's get back on.
yeah. So there does need to be a summer where Chelsea
Yes.
don't sign. Look, for me, it's just a case of if there's anything that needs tweaking, it's you get quality in 3 positions.
Yeah.
Midfield, because I think we're a bit light.
Keeper.
And centre forward.
Yeah,
But
keep-
and the
keep
smart,
is needed.
actually, wait, no, not midfield, because we've got too many of those.
Centre
Yeah.
back.
Centre back.
Centre back.
Centre back.
Or
Centre-
defender, yeah, I would
Centre
say.
back, goalkeeper. Actually, you know what? Yeah, and centre back. So 4. You need a spine.
One link,
Chelsea
yeah.
don't have a spine still, and I guess like, well, you can create the spine, but unfortunately, the problem is with that. When everyone who says that then contradicts their own points, because when Chelsea aren't winning games, everyone's moaning because Chelsea aren't good enough, and Chelsea aren't good enough. The quality's not there. The quality's not there. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be somewhere it's like maybe not even a summer, a January and a summer where Chelsea sign 4 players. That's it.
Yeah.
And then those players, again, like I said, like Ivan Toney, then go and help those youngsters improve and get better. And then by the time they've sort of shuffled on,
Yeah.
make it sound like they're dying. By the time
Thiago Silva at one point.
by the
I know.
He was back at training recently.
he was there yesterday.
Yeah. I was who is Chelsea's starting centre backs? Like genuinely.
Fofana and Cole. Our back 4 is the same, isn't it?
Yeah,
It'll always be
Yeah,
the
I
Let's
think
do,
it comes back.
it's the same until one of them
Gets
injured.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Fofana's injured a lot.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. Everyone's like, but he's so good. Yeah. When
Well,
can he
Yeah,
consistently?
when he plays.
He's had 3 ACLs, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
you can still do it, guys.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
like
it's ridiculous.
I
it's
think
like
it's because after the second one, he did come in for like 6 games and was unreal.
Yeah.
And then did his level.
And yeah, and then
What did it
did
for the third time?
it's like when you got the dog who's just like it's on its way out, and it's like, but you keep investing at the vet. You're like, I've got to keep going, guys. But sometimes the dog just needs to be put down. Sorry, am I doing it again? Too much?
No,
Dad's walking out and dog's dying. This is a podcast.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing with Thiago Silva. I think I always said with Thiago in terms of he's
Say again.
pretty much 40.
Say again.
Thiago
Say the whole thing. Say it.
Thiago Silva.
Oh, so good. So carry on. So now I've had another Paul Bruce on.
He speaks 7 languages.
I know, yeah.
You've spoken, haven't you?
Yeah. I think the thing with
Bit insecure.
Yeah, oh my god. He just comes in and starts speaking Portuguese and like, cool.
Wish I could do that.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing with Thiago Silva is that he is 40, but he is still so good. He went to Fluminense. They were awful when he went there.
It made them better, innit?
They've literally not lost in 8 now since he's joined. I think it says a lot when a 39-year-old centre-back is the best centre-back in a team
Well,
that
comfortably,
is
yeah.
meant to be challenging for the league pretty much.
I'd argue that Thiago Silva, even last year, was one of the top 3 centre backs in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say him, Saliba, and then...
John Stones. No,
No, I...
Ruben
Virgil?
Dias? Ruben
Hum Dias.
Van Dijk.
Van
Yeah,
Dijk?
Van
Nah,
Dijk.
Hum
They
Dias.
thought I was finished. You were finished. No.
I'd say last season would have been Hum Dias, but...
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think that the fact that he was pretty much the best player in that team says it all at 39 years old. Nothing against him, but I
I think it was also the fact that he was the least injury prone of our teams. At
That's what I was
39.
about to say.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I actually asked him because I was actually intrigued.
How do you not get injured?
No, I sat down with him. I was like, right, how'd you do it? I had to ask him.
Yeah.
And it was he's just pulled out big fuck off, like the leg things that like you sit in. I'm like, yeah, it's like I just sit in this like 6 hours a day. I'm like, what do you do? What do you do with your time? Like it's just like play.
I want him in the Brazil squad. Genuinely, I think he would help us.
I think you just lost to Paraguay.
I know.
Wow.
I think what
of Roque Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I think what
Barclays.
Oh,
so good.
I think what he brings to a team, I think the other thing as well is with youth experience.
Yeah.
He has got that experience. He is one of the greatest players. I think when he left in Chelsea, for example, I couldn't really see anybody who had that level at least of experience.
Yeah, I guess.
I think the next one would have been Conor Gallagher, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Well, because Jorginho left, who had at least the
shame.
European.
Yeah.
Then you had like
Third
internationals.
best player in the world doing fuck all. Anyway,
6 months. It was
6
solid.
months, he was good.
Yeah. But that kind of says all the time. There's not really a leadership in the squad, and I think that is pretty key.
Well, I think the antithesis of this is the fact that Enzo Fernandez is our captain, having done what he did in the summer.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's wild.
That is its whole issue in its own.
But at the same time, he wasn't necessarily the one singing it, and they've all forgiven him. So.
Well,
I was doing well in Copa America. We had a lot to say about that.
I was going to text you about that. I was like, what's going on? I looked at my phone and I saw what was going on. And I'm going to leave, James.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a busy few days.
Honestly, we were just
Didn't touch on it.
honestly, I think I stayed awake for about 3 days just covering that and responding to like different people asking different questions, just throughout a radio station, and I was like, this could get out of hand
I think
very quickly.
the biggest problem with that, and I will say, I'm going to give praise to Chelsea here for how they've dealt with this. So, I'm half Italian, so I've got Italian family who, if we're going to be I'm going to be very honest, they're not as educated in terms of race and sexuality and all that sort of stuff, right? It's just not something which you look at. So, for example, when they've come over here, there's been a couple of occasions where I've had to go, you know what I mean? Where they come there, I need to go. And sort of be like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Enzo Fernandez in a similar situation, let's not forget that and this isn't me condoning it, by the way, I just want to make that clear. This is just, I'll elaborate on what I'm trying to say here. He went from Argentina to Portugal very quickly, and very quickly went to Chelsea after 6 months. Like that's.
He was very young as well.
He was very young, and he was young, dumb, and stupid. And we've all been stupid. I'm not saying that we've all, racially abused people, but it's he's been very stupid there.
Yeah.
However, his squad mates called him out is massive.
Yeah.
The fact that they've then had a dialogue and gone through it is also big. And Chelsea getting Paul Cannaville, who was Chelsea's first ever black player, to help educate him, which is the biggest thing here. Is education.
That's what I was going to say.
Is great. When people are like, well, who would you wear captain? I couldn't give you an answer because I don't think there's a leader in that squad. And I don't think he's one either yet. But I personally think he's in Chelsea's starting 11.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of things to consider with that situation. But it is one thing that's been dealt with very well by Chelsea and is continuing to be dealt with. But unfortunately, look, people are fickle, but they also don't forget things. People is held.
It's
against
going to be a
people all the
tarnish
time.
that's there.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing for me is the rest of us. I think the other thing is with him is he's very young still. And I think
22, is it 22, 23?
Yeah, 23. Yeah. He was surrounded by far more experienced players, far more kind of knowledgeable players who have been outside. Emy Martinez was there, for example. He's been in England a long time. He's outside.
Basically naturalised.
Yeah, and I think he was called out specifically, but I think people have almost kind of put all the blame on him and have kind of taken it away from other people, which I think, yes, I think it's right to call him out. I think it's right, but I do think, as you said, Chelsea have dealt with that brilliantly.
You're the first person who's actually said that to me, and I thought it for ages. And whenever you try to raise that in a conversation,
Well, the other people haven't been called
people
out.
haven't been called out. No, everybody was like,
Emy
well,
Martinez.
you just try and deflect it. So, well, no, I use Emy Martinez, I use Alexis McAllister. I think it's too big.
We spoke about that with Carlos and I don't think Dan, but Carlos, like the fact Carlos is also He's from Spain. He's
Yeah.
like
Brazilian Spanish.
Brazilian Spanish. Like, there's so many people in the background who don't even get a mention.
Yeah, I think even Julian Alvarez was in there. He
Yeah.
was next there.
Like,
No one said anything. I think Julian Alvarez similarly is very much like
young, he's young as well.
very much moved from, I think the thing is with Argentina, not speaking as a whole against the country or anything, but I think there is that history of race in Argentina.
Yeah.
Not going to go into it too much, but I think culturally, a lot of things change the more you come from here. I think parts of Portugal are fairly similar, where it's not as, educated as here. But I think this is the thing for me. If he was playing in Benfica, still, he wouldn't have had so much backlash as he did when playing for Chelsea.
But that's what we were talking about brand earlier.
Yeah.
Chelsea's a massive
Chelsea's a
brand.
big club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. But I do think, as I said, it is unfair just to put all the blame on him, because there are a dozen players there that should have been called out. But Emy Martinez, I haven't seen anything on him.
Do you not think that maybe that was because, the Chelsea players were the ones that called him out on it? Which almost shows maybe a bit more of a connection between them, because none of the other teammates really, from
That's what I was
people
about
that
to
were
say.
in the background or sat next to him, none of them called them out.
Look at the Aston Villa squad.
Yeah.
The Aston Villa squad. You had Liam Bailey, you had Luis. You have enough players there who should have been annoyed at it, but didn't make it public. I think the thing with Chelsea is I think the players did the right thing about making it public, and Chelsea did the right thing about handling the situation. Because they could have easily frozen him out and just sold him and gone, we don't want to deal with this.
No, but then the other reason they did deal with it and didn't freeze out like other players is because.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's the politics. But this is what I mean about the politics within Chelsea. There are certain things where it's like this brings back to unfortunately negative connotations with Chelsea. The significant lack of financial understanding of the market is also something which maybe stipulates into that as to people like, again, it's the fee. It's not his fault. People paid so much for it.
Of course.
But it's like Chelsea have invested a lot of money. He is the poster boy. When basically the logic from Chelsea from the Mason Mount situation, when they knew they were getting rid of him, because what happened to Mason Mount, sent down to Gallagher, sent down to Chalobah, sent to Chilwell.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing, but it's PR, it's marketed well, it's briefed well. Enzo Fernandez was, we're going to buy your new superstar. He is going to be your guy. He is going to be the guy who's going to be the face of Chelsea. That's what Enzo Fernandez was brought in to
6
be.
months later, they did the same thing with Caicedo.
Yeah, exactly. But then I think Caicedo they brought in because look, for me, I think Caicedo's a great player. I do think he was very flavour of the month at that point personally.
Yeah.
But he's stepping up, and I think he will be a very good player for Chelsea.
He does seem to be improving slowly.
He's still young.
Yeah.
He made a massive jump at a very short time.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing is he's at a Chelsea team that is still in a transitional period.
Mm-hmm.
So Chelsea's still trying to find their identity, trying to work out what's best.
Which is Random FC by the sound of things.
At this point, his Vibes FC. But I do think
No, Vibes FC was Frank Lampard, 1920.
Yeah,
That was
was
Vibes FC.
fair.
We came fourth.
It's my favourite
With
year
that
following
team?
Chelsea aside from
2021,
no,
2012.
16-17.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the first season I went home and away.
Yeah.
So it was great. Victor Mosden, bat flips, and right wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
he's just signed for Luton, hasn't he?
Oh, mate.
Yes, he has, yeah.
So that's a
I didn't think
one.
he still played.
He's banging in 25. Mate, he has had the best career path.
Yeah,
Victor
no,
Moses.
his career path is so strange.
I know this is a tangent, right? But I know, but this is right. Victor Moses comes through at Palace as a star boy, right? Unbelievable. Basically, what Elise, Eze, like all that. I think that's what it was at Palace. Goes to Wigan in a pure Barclays team. Sean Maloney, all that sort of. Leighton Baines is still at left back.
Yeah.
He then comes to Chelsea, gets his big move, kind of falls out of it a little bit, isn't quite the right fit. Comes back as a wing back, goes to get the bag in Russia, and then he's gone to Luton. And it's just.
Little still at Liverpool as well.
Well,
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Liverpool. He was in obviously that season when they finished second.
Yeah.
yeah.
With Gerrard slip.
Yeah. Had to get that in.
I wasn't there for that.
You're not.
I turned down a ticket.
Oh, really?
I know when I say I got turned down, I was told I wasn't allowed to go because I had a school play which I had to focus on because it was massively important.
I was supposed to
Bollocks.
go to the Battle of the Bridge,
I was there for that.
But-
Ironically, Battle of the Bridge was the day before I had my open day at UCFB.
Oh, really?
So I remember coming in and then...
See, it was the day before my GCSE English literature exam. So my dad wouldn't let me go.
Sorry. Actually, no, you're not much younger than me. It's fine. Okay.
I'm 24.
Yeah, so you're still 1990 or 2000, right?
2000.
Yeah, you two are 2000 now, aren't you?
2002.
Yeah.
2000 and...
2005.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even I feel bad.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was 5.
Yeah.
Oh, that hit me.
I'm young.
Oh, shit.
You were born the year Chelsea won the league under Mourinho.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I feel sick.
No, that hit me as well. Wait a minute, what?
Oh.
Wow.
Take a minute, guys. Take it all in. It's all right.
I do think Barkley's
He's going into second year of uni as well.
Yeah.
seeing excellence of crisis here.
All right, let's
chest.
let's
Just tight right now. Let's move on.
Let's move on before we run out of time. We spoke about this before the podcast started, but it's always I do think it's a funny thing to talk about on the podcast. But I want you to give the three of us, as you used to be, waited 3 months as a barber.
I did.
I want you to give us some advice on how we can improve our trims.
You can get rid of that mullet for a start, mate.
I had a feeling.
Jesus Christ, this going, oh my god, it's so funny in lockdown, but we're going to keep it as a fade now.
Actually, I shaved my head for lockdown. This is relatively
You used to do V-cut. You look cold with a V-cut.
What the?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing next.
With a V-cut?
Yeah.
Where are you going to get it, mate?
You.
Right here.
Good lad.
Come on, good answer.
Right answer.
Good answer.
It's all about that one. Yeah.
Not my dodgy Turkish barber where it goes from like £5 1 week or £50.
All I'm saying is I only retrained as a barber because I moved back to Wembley and I remembered that I'd never had a barber in Wembley. I was like, you know, I'll just retrain and do that sort of content stuff.
Fair enough.
It was great. So I had a great time doing it in the flat. So I've literally took apart the barber studio yesterday. That's the second existential crisis I've had in less than 24 hours.
So life's going well.
It's awful, mate. I took around the barber and was like, oh, this is so good.
You redoing it or?
Oh yeah. But I'm going to be popping up and down here. Big Red works on the Chelsea Echo. He's a student. He's already else. So I'm going to be nipping up and down here every so often. So
I'll give you a man.
Got a shout.
I like your hair.
Thank you.
I just think it's fine. If you can do anything, just get it shaped a little bit more. But
Yeah, I mean that's what I did wake up pretty early to get a train. So I normally do like
Did you
wash it
come
out
from?
and brush it. Yeah, I came this morning. So I was up at 4.
Committed.
So
in on the red eye.
no, I was up at 4. So I would normally like take time to. I just couldn't be bothered. So I was like, you know what? But no, I do need to like trim out the side. So.
No, I'm going to get
It's
a
not,
haircut tomorrow.
it's not you're on camera either, mate.
Yeah, exactly, man. Don't even come at me with that. Don't even try, please.
Doing the Masters, you've got a mullet, quite up.
Well, I finished actually.
Still want them on it though.
That's the delusion. You've still got one. You, mate.
I need to get a cut.
You just need a haircut.
I'm literally getting one tomorrow. So I was like, yeah, because I've been trying to save from back home. It's like 20 quid for a haircut.
Yeah, get a safe one, mate.
Yeah, mate.
I'm not lowering my price for you. Yeah, I mean, you just bring
Just to get a cut.
just a little bit tighter on top.
Yeah.
I'd say, just just definitely tighter on the sides.
Yeah.
Not a skin fade though.
No.
No, just a 3.
Yeah.
Short back and sides.
Yeah.
Get ready for school. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's totally
alright.
She
fine.
actually just moved back to Wembley.
Yeah, literally moved back yesterday.
Well,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
I'm holding it in. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Should we now go to dress sense as well, or?
Oh, we do fully doing it.
To be fair, if he's
Yeah.
You said your best dress, so
You should
why
say you're
not?
best dressed.
I do dress quite. You see that coat, mate? Walked in. It's
Yeah,
my gaffer coat.
Fair enough. It's a good coat. I like it.
I like Zara. I never thought I'd buy anything from there, but I did. And it fits. Yeah, it's all fine. I mean,
Happy days?
It is.
Yeah.
Guessing you just rolled out of bed, came down, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty
much.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in your 20s in London, mullet.
Yeah.
Do you go Shoreditch a lot?
Not that much.
Angel?
I've been Angel a couple of times.
Where's
I live in Clapham.
You live in Clapham, you got...
Yeah.
that makes one.
Yeah.
That could be my next thing. I live in Clapham, I have a mullet. I'm going to go to the Little Orange Door. It's going to be a great...
I've never been, actually.
You never been to Little Orange
No.
Door? Nah, it's not that great.
No, so I've never been.
How many times have you been in Furnace?
Once.
You've only been once?
Yeah, it was shit.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't like it.
Shit.
I've been once. I
The
don't like
music bangs in there, boys. What are you talking about?
I didn't.
It sucks.
Okay,
That's the whole... You don't go in there sober. I'm not drinking it. I do anything. But I just bring... I'm the life and soul of party wherever I go, mate.
So I normally go Northcote Road.
Yeah, Northcote Road.
So I used to work.
I
used to work in the Northcote. He
you're
still works in the pub.
Oh, okay, so no. Oh, I recognise you. You've thrown me out at least twice. So I used to go to the Merchant.
Oh yeah. That's just done.
So my barber shop that I used to do stuff is where I used to film the barber show is Project Barber.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I used to be there.
That's just across the street.
Yeah. Project Barber. Now I'll go off cut straight.
That's where my parents are. And Streatham.
Streatham, go there now. But yeah,
Streatham's a questionable
mate,
one.
South. I mean, to be honest, Southwest, that's all right, Streatham.
It's in between two questionable places.
Well, no, but it's fine. What I do is I go to Streatham, I run, and I run back.
Right. So do you remember after the podcast last week, what I sent you in the group chat?
Yeah, that was.
We had So I was going back to Amsterdam as usual, and we had a police raid in the house next door. About 50 officers, 4 gang units turned up, they were gangs, raided a house, arrested about 5 different people. And I was just sending it to him
So when I was getting my hair cut in Streatham was when I had last. So I didn't have a trim for ages. So basically, I've been doing this thing where I wasn't cutting my hair until I hit a certain weight. I was trying to shift as much as possible. I hit the weight.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. That wasn't sarcasm. That was actually me being thanks.
Yeah, fuck you.
No, but I was getting my hair cut. I thought, this is great. And then it was obviously when all the riots happened.
Yeah.
No.
So we had 4 police vans go past. So I thought, that's just straight. Then 4 more. Then 2 riot vans. Yeah. Then the City of London police vans came. I was like,
and then it's like,
oh, I'm in Streatham.
the army unit's gonna come down.
No, the territorial. It wasn't in the territorial army. There's a territorial police force. I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, I had to look it up. I looked it up, right? So that's what it is.
It's the mall cops, basically.
No, we is it this one, right? So it's like
this one.
So what it is, right? I looked up the other day.
You saw.
That was the one.
Last week.
There's Jamie going past again.
I saw this the other day, so I think it's for severe gang and drug use, or something like that. Yeah, here we go. So it's for severe gang disorder or drug disorder. So that's why it would have been the riots.
Yeah, so
there was a massive riot.
I was finding Clapham.
Yeah, so there was a massive riot in Streatham Common last week. There was a massive riot in Streatham Common last week. That's probably what it was.
In Clapham. Clear! We're going to go to Northcote.
Yeah. I made the mistake.
How many Aussies do you see on the daily? I've surprisingly not seen that many.
So many. I mean, I get asked if I was in now.
I just bump into all the people I know from home because I'm from Tunbridge Wells. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to be everyone goes from Tunbridge Wells to Clapham. It just I've seen so many people I don't like. It's horrible. No, it's like I go
that somewhere.
No, it's like I go. Obviously, that was my safe haven was the barber shop.
Yeah.
I'll go in another day. There's 3 people in the chairs. I'm like, I'm getting my hair cut after hours now. I'm not doing this. Because the guy, fortunately, it's the guy I trained with. He was cuts my hair. So I was like, after hours, see.
Cool.
Do that. Then did you see the story the other day when he was cutting my hair?
Yes.
He had 6 pints and cut my hair, and it was still a cold trim. It was amazing. I loved it.
He had 6 pints while doing your hair.
Yeah, he had 6 pints, and it was in my flat, and the lights broke just his so he had his phone torch like that, just connected by his chain. It was still an unbelievable trim. Yeah. He had 6 pints. He is an unbelievable barber.
I remember I used to work in Clapham. I worked in the Starbucks before. I worked in Clapham, and it was very strange. I don't know. It was.
That's alright.
I know, I didn't mind it, but it was just very... I think the issue is it's very different to, Streatham. It's quite close, but it's very different.
That's why my man hates it. He was there, going, he'd be like, I can do Clapham, but I just want to go straight back to Streatham. He wouldn't ever drink at the Merchant, because he don't miss too many of his clients. He just we always used to go to the Junction, sit in the corner.
Oh, the Junction, yeah.
I made the mistake going Simmons once. Don't want to do that.
Churchill's. More in
I've been
Wandsworth.
Battersea, yeah. Well, I used to
That's
get.
really good.
It's a proper old man.
Proper
pub.
almost
I love
pub.
it.
£4.20 for a Guinness.
Yeah, it's really good.
So, and even quick.
Go
Sorry, yeah, no free promo.
No free promo. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Northcote Records, The Merchant.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other places.
That's the main ones.
Yeah, those are the two that I go to. I mean, to be honest,
Records are good though.
yeah, Records good. Junction. Oh, I love that
Got the
music.
Plough.
It's pretty much
The Plow's rubbish.
I've literally been in once.
Plow's rubbish. Sorry. I've still not done the Swan. That's on my list.
You're not missing out.
Yeah, but I like Inferno, so I think I like the Swan.
It's worse.
Oh, absolutely.
No, but
love it.
he liked it, but that's
It's
the point.
worse.
Ed doesn't look very happy with that.
He was there
Shut
recently.
your goddamn mouth! No, it's
He was there recently, so he could attest to it being worse.
I'm a.
He said,
You
grow
grew
up.
So you saying that to me? Who the fuck are you, mate? Jesus Christ! I'm being abused now, am I?
I think on that note, we'll end the podcast so you can go beat him up.
That's fine. Am I giving you my invoice as well, mate?
Good point.
I was doing it for free, now I'm getting charged. At least one. You're gonna pay. Ed, you're going to pay for all my drinks for one night at the Swan.
I wish
Oh,
to
look
go.
at me! I work in a pub and I know how to talk to people. Grow up. Grow up, mate. You ain't worked in a deli like I have. Deal with city boys all the time. That's all right. Yeah? Look at him. He's going to wear a gilet and do that next, isn't he? I like him.
Yeah, he's good. He's one of our best mates. Unfortunately. Do you want to shout out your stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
so if you've enjoyed me being an idiot, please do check out Chelsea Echo, because where I can, as you can tell, use big words, we also take the piss quite a lot. And the jokes are as dark as parents leaving to get milk. Yeah, so and then my social at Louis_Beneventi. And if you guys want to check out The Sideline, which has really good narrative podcasts and also has some really other good shows as well, some fantastic creators and ex-players and all that sort of stuff, please do check it out. So thank you very much. And
Perfect.
guys, make sure you follow these boys because they're doing a very good job. It seems like a very good pod,
Thank you very much.
even if you did just roll out of bed together.
Last thing as well,
Yep.
for anyone who wants to kind of go into journalism or the kind of like, specifically like kind of football journalism,
Mhm.
what would you say is like a main kind of step or something that piece of advice you'd give to someone doing that?
This is your question that you always ask.
Yeah, man, it's just a good thing
Yeah.
to. What would you say?
I'm trying to think so I don't tell you what I've already told you. I'm
Fair
sorry,
enough.
Joe, basically, because when me and Joey met, it was very much, I tried to, I don't want to give everyone saying, guys, you've got to work hard. and try
Yeah,
hard."
you made the whole PowerPoint.
Yeah.
You know what Dave told
You
me,
made a whole
right?
PowerPoint.
Sorry, on that note, Dave told me I thought it was going to be 30 minutes. It's run the whole bloody lesson.
no, he wasn't
It
happy
ran the
with
2 hour lesson.
He told me I'd have a lecture, so I was like, okay, I'll do it like a lecture. I was like,
He planned a whole 2 hour lecture, and Dave was like, well, we were meant to be doing other stuff, but we're not going to do it now.
yeah,
I rate that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, it was really enjoyable. We loved it.
Yeah, because we just fucked about to us, didn't we? But someone did a Ronaldo versus Messi debate and there was shit, and I told them to sit down. So,
Oh, yeah.
there's no messing about with me. But you know, I'm sure this.
No, it was pretty,
It's my biggest piece of advice is if you're going to do something you love, you've got to learn that sometimes you're going to hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is going to be.
That's a really good piece.
That is,
Yeah.
you've got to learn to deal with the bits you hate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not always going to be
No.
like this star-studied kind of
No.
thing that people look at.
I think that, look, a good example for me. I've had the pleasure of having drinks with Paolo Maldini and Nesta after the best awards. Right, I've interviewed Frank Lampard, Kasper Schmeichel, Peter Schmeichel, Cantona. I've had interviews. I've done all this work with all these amazing people. Steve Sidwell is one of the best people I've ever worked with. Charlie Adam, and they've told me amazing stories, and I've sat and had drinks with them, and it's been fantastic. But to do that, I had to stand outside and talk to Dave, not Dave King, just Dave,
Just a random day.
Dave
Yeah.
from Battersea or
Yeah.
Dave from Uganda. I don't know. It could be Dave from Uganda. So wherever it was, he could have come from anywhere. No,
Yeah.
genuinely, it's
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
you, like.
I
and you-
wasn't expecting Uganda.
I'm full of surprises. Mate. I don't even notice that already. There's been a few times going, why has he said that? You know, but
No,
it's,
yeah.
I'd say you've got to put in the legwork with things you don't want to do. That can be stuff. I've done fan cams in Burnley in -15. I've done that for 3 hours and I didn't have gloves, they'd broken, and the thermals are broken because I'm a fat bastard, and they didn't fit anymore. You know, if you had to do it, just you got some things you don't want to do, you have to do, and again, it comes back to putting in the legwork, but it's such an obvious thing. And manage your relationships. Very important thing. Don't be a kiss ass. Or if you have to, do it in the right situations. I don't know. I could have done another lecture on it.
Yeah, we'll set up a lecture for the next one.
Yeah, Dave, it's going to be 3 hours this week.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're around here. Make sure to check out all of our other shows, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys.